We've got a feel good episode today. We are talking about the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. We've got Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, and Southeast. Perrysburg residents are helping other Perrysburg residents with hyper-local gifting through the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. We'll get to all the details in just a minute. First, I'd like to welcome you to episode 81 of the Perrysburg podcast. I'm your host, Perrysburg resident Kim Newlove. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. The Perrysburg podcast is a resource for Perrysburg residents. Whether you're looking to move here, you're brand new here, or you've been here for a while, this podcast is for you. We talk about what's in Perrysburg and why people like to live here. Our website is perrysburgpodcast.com. Here's what we'll cover today. I have a list of 9 items. We will go through the list first, and then I'll go through each item one at a time. Gratitude first. I could not possibly have created my outline for today's episode without one generous person. Let me finish the list and then I will name her. Second, we'll talk about what a Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group is. Third, we'll talk about history. I'll let you know when the first Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group started. Fourth is stats. I'll tell you how many people are in each group, each of the 4 groups, and how many posts were made in just the Northwest group in January 2025. That means that as I publish this in February 2025, we'll cover last month's data. Fifth, I'll let you know how to join a Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group and a website to visit if you're from outside of Perrysburg and you'd like to join a group. Sixth is how it works. How it works just in general, because there are rules, and we'll talk about some of the rules and the guardrails for the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. By the way, these rules keep everyone on mission, so to speak. They're not there to be punitive or to exclude anyone. Seventh, I will share some examples of Perrysburg people helping other Perrysburg people. These are things that I have seen. Eighth is banned items and what could and has gone wrong. And ninth and finally are some parting words about the good intentions that surround the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. Gratitude first. Thank you so much to Angela Pantorno. Angela Pantorno is one of the admins for the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Northwest group. She provided me with dates, stats, facts, lists, rules, and more for this episode. I could not have created my outline without her. Thank you, Angela. Next, let's talk about the basics. This is part 2. What is a Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group? In a nutshell, it is a Facebook group where Perrysburg residents give and receive items or services, or lend and borrow items, all for free, according to the group's rules. Again, people may lend or borrow items, offer items or services, request items or services, gift items or services, or give gratitude for gifts, services, or borrowed items. We have 4 Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups here in Perrysburg. They are the Northwest group, the Northeast group, the Southwest group, and the Southeast group. That's it for the basics. Now for part 3. When did the first Buy Nothing Perrysburg group start? The original Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group began in 2019, summer 2019. Once the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups got to a certain size, they split. So in February of 2021, the Southeast, Southwest, and North groups started. Then the North group split into Northwest and Northeast in September 2023. Thanks again to Angela Pantorno for the details. Next up is part 4, stats. How many people are in the groups and how many posts were made in just the Northwest group in January 2025? I'm in the Northwest group and so's Angela, so that is why I went with the Northwest group. All right, here's the numbers. The original Buy Nothing Perrysburg group, which is now archived, had about 2,400 members. As of this month, February 2025, the Northeast group has 633 members, Northwest has 668, Southeast has 677, and Southwest has 868. The Southwest group has the largest number of members at the time of this recording. Just to give you an idea of how many posts were made in the Northwest group in January 2025, 686 posts were made last month, January 2025. And Monday, Saturday, and Sunday were by far the most popular days for posts and gifting. That does it for the stats. Now let's move on to part 5. How do you join a Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group? And what's the website if you're outside of Perrysburg? You can join a Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group using a personal Facebook account if you live in Perrysburg. Search for the Buy Nothing group in your part of Perrysburg, for example, Buy Nothing Perrysburg Northwest, and just click Join Group on the group's page. If you don't know which group your part of Perrysburg is in, check out the map using the link in the show notes. Same goes if you're outside of Perrysburg. Click the link to the map in the show notes and find your Buy Nothing group here in the United States. In general, where are the boundaries? Here in Perrysburg, I would say that Louisiana Avenue or State Route 199 divides the town into west and east, and I 475 is the road that separates the north and south groups. Again, this is a generality. I live near Rivercrest Park and I am in the Northwest group. Once you find your group and you click Join Group, you need to answer some questions and agree to the rules. An admin for the Facebook group that you belong to needs to approve you before you can become a member. Contact that group's admin with any questions. And that does it for how to join. Next up is part 6, how it works. You will literally buy nothing in the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. Good news. The groups are for adults only, of course, and they are a hyper-local gifting economy. All income levels and walks of life belong to the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. You can post anything that you would like to give away, lend, or share. Or you can also ask for anything you'd like to receive for free or borrow. According to the rules, there is no buying or selling, no trades or bartering, and no soliciting for cash. Each Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group is for the neighbors in neighborhoods in that part of Perrysburg, the Northwest, the Northeast, the Southwest, or the Southeast. These groups are not a charity or a community bulletin board, and you can only join one group. What do people give or receive? Here's an example. Say you have a toddler and they get potty trained. Hooray! But you have an opened package of 4T-sized pull-ups. You don't know anybody that could use them and you want to get them out of your house without throwing them away. You post them on the Buy Nothing site and someone comments that they would like them. Now, if it were me, I would post, I am gifting an open package of 4T-sized pull-ups. Porch pickup, Rivercrest Park area. And once someone comments, I'd like to be considered for this gift, I would respond, I'd be happy to gift these to you. Please direct message me for pickup information. And then that person and I would work out the details privately. Like I would give my address and where I'd put the pull ups, like on my front porch under the doorbell, and which day and time they'll be set out. And that's it. That's one example of how it could work. Some people put stuff in their driveways, at the end of the driveway, or close to their garage door, or some people put a bag on the post for their mailbox. Apartment dwellers, I'm not really sure how they do it, but there has to be a way that they do it. It's just kind of whatever the giver and the receiver work out privately. People get creative about gifting, depending on their personal experiences and their experience with the group and how much they trust the process. Now, if you join a group, I encourage you to take a look at previous posts for examples. Now, how about you need an item, right? Maybe it's, spring's coming up, you need a wheelbarrow. What you can do is search for it before you post about it, meaning use the what I call the magnifying glass or the search tool within the group. So you would put in the word wheelbarrow. And you would check for posts either offering for somebody to borrow a wheelbarrow, or maybe somebody's giving the gift of a wheelbarrow. Maybe they're clearing out their family's tools and they've got an extra wheelbarrow. You never know what you're going to find. So you can possibly find a wheelbarrow that way. If you don't find it, go ahead and post about it. You can say, I'm looking for the gift of a wheelbarrow. Or you can say, I'm looking to borrow a wheelbarrow, and just be kind of specific. I need it for just this weekend and then I will return it. Now, here's a fun fact. Maybe you'll post that you need a wheelbarrow and you didn't look first to see if somebody was offering one. Sometimes group members will try to connect one another, or the admins will try to connect somebody who's offering something to somebody who needs something. And I think that's really cool. Maybe these people just don't know about each other. I have definitely seen group members or admins try to connect people. That does it for the basics on how it works. Part 7 is next, success stories. I have seen a lot of really interesting items change hands. So here are a few feel good stories about Perrysburg people helping other Perrysburg people. Number 1, people give away plants. I have seen this especially in the spring and the summer. Maybe somebody's got tulip bulbs or hostas that have been split. Maybe somebody overbought flowers in the spring and they'd like to get rid of anything from impatiens to petunias, begonias, and geraniums. I have overbought before and had some people come over and porch pick up my leftovers. Example number 2, people share Halloween costumes. My kids are adults, so I have not done this, but I have seen these interactions on the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Northwest Facebook group. Kids love to dress up around Halloween, but sometimes they change their minds last minute or they ruin their costume and they need a different costume. Mom or dad doesn't have the time or the money to go out and buy a new one, or whatever the reason is. And hey, if this happens to you, you can ask for the gift of whatever costume it is that you're looking for, or ask to borrow any old costume. People out there are willing to help. Remember, these are your neighbors. And they really do give away things or lend things because they know the kinds of people that they're helping, and they trust that they'll either get their stuff back or their costumes going to a good home. That's how this hyperlocal gift economy works. Example number 3, any time of the year, people share pet items like dog food that didn't work out or crates for puppies. Sometimes it's a temporary thing. Somebody just needs to borrow a crate for a puppy. And I'll tell you, once upon a time, one of my neighbors was looking for a thunder shirt for her dog. It's like a shirt that fits kind of tight and it helps with anxiety. I'm not sure if she got one for her dog, but I know that she tried finding one in the group. And the fourth and final example that I'll share today is a wall mirror. People give away household goods. A group member needed a wall mirror for one of her children. She posted it in the group, and I responded to the post. We worked out the pickup details through Facebook Messenger. I put the mirror on my porch. They picked it up, and everyone was happy. I know those are brief stories, and the items are not that exciting, but these are neighbors helping neighbors, and this should give you an idea about how straightforward the group is and some of the items that I've seen change hands. I've been active with the group for, I would say, at least 2 years now, and I have gifted things, I have loaned things, and I have received things and had great experiences. I would say that people are on mission. This is a hyper local gift economy. Now, people post more things than I have listed, like children's toys, clothing items, sometimes garbage bags full of clothing, kitchen appliances, diapers, and pull ups, like I talked about earlier, moving boxes. I have gotten rid of moving boxes before this way. People get rid of crafting supplies, paints, paintbrushes, stickers, all kinds of stuff, furniture, fitness equipment, books, home decor items like my wall mirror, and so much more. So many items have changed hands through these Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. Now, once the items are received, this really cool thing happens. I often see posts that say gifted. These are success stories, brief, but they're success stories. So the top of the post has changed from I'm offering this gift of to gifted. Or I'll see gratitude posts from whoever received the items. The Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups have a gracious, generous, and positive vibe. We need that in the world today. We need good things. Perrysburg people are helping Perrysburg people within the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. Now, that being said, the groups are not for everyone. So let's get to the eighth part of the episode, which is banned items and what could and has gone wrong. There are rules and banned items, and people do occasionally get removed from the group by the admins for breaking the rules. For example, you cannot give or request alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs, prescription drugs for humans or animals, firearms, fireworks, or adult videos and printed materials. There is no buying, selling, bartering, or trading, and the admins are not liable for any loss, injury, or illness resulting from your participation. You are responsible for investigating the safety of any items or service acquired through the group. The Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups are all about building community. They are not just places to find free stuff. You also get to know your neighbors, and once you meet your neighbors, the world feels like a smaller, friendlier place. Buy Nothing groups build community. I think we can all agree that helping other people makes you feel good, and hearing people say thank you feels good too. Plus, giving and sharing locally is eco friendly. You can often walk to wherever your item is or ride your bike to pick up your items, weather permitting, of course. And if you do have to drive, they're on your side of town. Your neighbors are close by. You won't need much gas to get to their house, even if you have to drive there. Plus, you're also reducing waste by keeping unwanted stuff like partial packs of pull ups out of a landfill or keeping it out of somebody's storage space. I think that's great when I get some space cleared up in my own house. And hey, you might also be saving somebody the trouble of driving to a donation center, having a garage sale, or listing an item on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. Now, let's talk about what could go wrong or what has gone wrong, because things have. Sometimes group members misunderstand the rules and they break the rules, and then they get removed from the group, which has polarized some people's feelings about the group. They love it or they hate it based on their own experience. If they hate it, they may think the admins are mean and they want to kick people out of the groups. But contrary to that belief, the admins are just volunteers, and they do the best they can within the rules that the members agreed upon when they signed up. The admins are just there to keep us all on mission. What else has gone wrong? Sometimes people say they want an item and then they don't make arrangements to pick it up. Or they make arrangements to pick it up and they don't show up. Or sometimes a woman will say that she wants an item and work out the pickup details, but then the man in her life will pick the item up without mentioning that detail to the person gifting or lending the item. The detail is important and needs to be mentioned when arranging pickup. Otherwise, the person gifting that item might feel unsafe or like an item's being taken by somebody other than the person for whom it was intended. Details matter. And also, sometimes, more than one item will be at the pickup location and the wrong item gets taken. It's an honest mistake, but from what Angela tells me, it's rare, and misunderstandings are easy enough to clear up when they happen. That does it for banned items and what could and has gone wrong. Now, for the ninth and final part of this episode, good intentions. According to Angela, one of the two admins for the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Northwest group, people in the group have good intentions. Some of the best things she's seen are gratitude posts. Gratitude posts where group members share how they are using their gifted items or their borrowed items. Whether the gift has furnished a dorm room, clothed the needy, or rehomed items after a tragedy like a pet's death, gratitude posts restore faith in humanity. People also express concern or sympathy to those in need, and people make genuine connections through the group all the time. It's kind of like a version of a friend in need is a friend indeed, but it's the neighbor version. A neighbor in need is a neighbor indeed. For example, Angela told me that in April and May, she sees graduation tickets gifted. Some people have big families and they only get so many tickets for the Perrysburg High School graduation. Perrysburg High School, if you don't know this, gives admission tickets to families. Now, when somebody needs a ticket and they get one, that's awesome. I appreciate Angela sharing that with me. She also said that she's seen Christmas trees and holiday decorations gifted, and then the folks on the receiving end end up posting pictures of those gifted trees and ornaments and decorations in their new home. I love a happy ending. That's such a great story. And one last story from Angela. Angela has also seen group members crowdsource gifts for events, like gift baskets with tangible items or a service offering for a charity event. I love that. People in Perrysburg helping people in Perrysburg. Thank you, Angela, for those stories. And that does it for my outline of 9 talking points today. If the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group sounds like a good fit for you, get on Facebook and join a group today. If you have any questions, go ahead and message the admins for your Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook group. I hope you've enjoyed this feel good podcast episode about the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups. I've got links to all 4 Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups in the show notes on perrysburgpodcast.com. In the show notes, you'll also find a link to that map that I talked about, that map that will help you find your group. There's also a link to sign up for the Perrysburg Podcast's weekly newsletter in the show notes. You can go ahead and sign up, and I will email you about new episodes every week. Go ahead and share this episode with anyone who might be interested in the Buy Nothing Perrysburg Facebook groups, and follow this podcast for all future episodes. Thank you so much for listening today. I will talk to you next week.